Long-haul flights can be intimidating and exciting at the same time. Imagine hurtling through the sky at about 600 miles per hour while sitting inside a pressurized metal tube for 12 plus hours. Even though that sounds quite daunting, we have a few tips to help you survive your next long-haul flight. Welcome to our channel, where we talk about all the beautiful places around the world. If you're new here, we're glad you found us. And if you're a subscriber, thank you for joining us again. Without any further ado, let's head straight into the countdown. Wear comfortable clothes and shoes. In the early days of commercial flights, people dressed up for their flight as if going to an event. Of course, there would be nothing wrong with that unless you had to sit in that same set of clothes for 12 hours and counting. Suddenly, looking haggard and jet-lagged while in a flowy chiffon dress, a wide-brimmed hat, and clackety leather shoes doesn't sound so appealing. That's why you should wear comfortable clothes and shoes when flying long haul. You want to make sure you can fall asleep without feeling constricted while still being able to move around if you wish. But try to be reasonable and don't show up in your pajamas. You also need to ensure your shoes and socks give your legs enough compression to keep circulation going. Because you'll be sitting for long periods, your legs and ankles will likely swell. If you're wearing compression socks and comfortable shoes, they can help keep the blood flowing to your legs properly. Entertain yourself to pass the time. There's nothing worse than sitting in place for hours on end with nothing to entertain yourself with. Thankfully, many planes nowadays have in-flight entertainment, offering hours of content regardless of what you like. All you need is a pair of headphones or earbuds, and you'll be good to go. But if you're unlucky enough to get a seat with a non-functioning entertainment box, the entire journey can suddenly become daunting. That's why you should pack some backup materials for this reason. A book or an e-reader, a tablet, a handheld gaming console, or several movies downloaded to your device. That way, you're sure to have something to do regardless of what happens. And if all else fails, see if you can change seats, provided some are open. Make sure you nicely ask a flight attendant first before you move. Of course, you can always opt to sleep instead. That's always guaranteed to get the hours rolling without you noticing. But if you can't sleep, then distracting yourself away from the clock is the next best thing. Take naps. Most people suggest sleeping during your flight to ensure you're fully rested when you land. But let's be honest. Unless you're in business class, sleeping on the plane can be hit or miss. Not to mention, your sleep will be interrupted here and there anyway as the cabin crew walks around with drinks and snacks, or if you need to get up to let other people through. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have any shut-eye either. To ensure you're feeling refreshed when you land, take naps here and there. Not only will it make the time go by quicker, but it will also help you feel ready once you land at your destination. You'll be better prepared to start your holiday if you've had some rest instead of running on fumes. Can't fall asleep somehow? Pack some comfortable items, such as a neck pillow and an eye mask, to make yourself cozy. Some melatonin or other natural sleeping aids might be helpful as well, but consult with your doctor prior to using any supplements. Get up or stretch regularly. You might have heard the letters DVT thrown around whenever people talk about long-haul flights. That's because deep vein thrombosis is a risk when sitting for prolonged periods. You probably won't get it, but the chance isn't at 0%. So how do you avoid such a scary and potentially life-threatening condition? By making sure you get up and move around regularly. You don't need to get up every 10 minutes to jog up and down the aisle. As long as you periodically stretch and walk a few steps every once in a while, you'll lower your risk of DVT or other related problems. Trapped in your window seat and too afraid to wake the two other sleeping passengers beside you? Don't worry, you can still do subtle movements and stretches to help your legs. Some toe curls and ankle stretches help ensure you're moving. You can also simulate walking or jogging by moving your feet or lifting your heels up and down. Though they may not be as good as getting up and walking around, this option is better than nothing. Drink water regularly. Being dehydrated while stuck inside a metal tube 40,000 feet up in the air is not a pleasant experience. Not only does it make your flight miserable, but it'll also make you feel awful once you've landed. Avoid this by drinking water regularly. Make sure you pack a bottle of water with you before you board the plane, and opt for water when the cabin crew goes around with their tray of goodies. As tempting as it is to get something flashier like a can of Coke or alcohol, you want to ensure your body is getting proper hydration. If you're getting a hot drink, try to avoid getting coffee. Caffeine is a diuretic that draws water out of your body instead. That's the last thing you want when trying to make it to your destination dehydrated. Opt for a low or no caffeine option instead. Pick a good seat. Planning where you sit beforehand can make or break your flight. Long-haul, wide-body aircraft are usually configured in a 333 or 343 seating, so where you sit can affect your experience significantly. Shelling out extra just to reserve your ideal seat is a small price to pay in exchange for comfort. We're not going to tell you to pick aisle or window, but we'll explain their pros and cons instead. Aisle seats are popular because they give you immediate access should you need to get up. This is good for stretching and moving around, or if you have a needy bladder. But if you have a seatmate who needs the toilet just as much as you, you'll have to get up from your seat a lot more than you probably intended. And that can make sleeping or napping difficult. Window seats, on the other hand, give you views of the sky and a surface for you to rest your head. It can also feel a bit more private because you're tucked into the corner. However, it can feel cramped if the person beside you encroaches on your space. You're also at the mercy of two other passengers if you need to get up, so this may not be a good choice if you use the restroom often. Lastly, middle seats are what most people try to avoid when flying solo. That's because you don't have a stable leaning surface by the window and you don't have the freedom to move aisle side. Your movement is restricted from both sides, even more if the seat in front of you reclines. Try not to get a middle seat if you're alone, or you'll be in for a challenging flight. Pack what you need in your stowed bag. The standard carry-on policy for flights is one small luggage bag to be stowed overhead and a personal item to be kept underneath the seat in front of you. Make your flight experience smoother by packing essential gear in your personal bag. Any backup entertainment, drinks, and snacks should always be within your reach. Even your sleeping essentials, such as an eye mask or an inflatable pillow, should be nearby and ready when you need them. That way, you can avoid opening the overhead compartment whenever you need something. And if you're sitting by a window seat, having your items within arm's reach instead of overhead can make the difference between flying happily or sitting miserably. Bring your own sanitized wipes and hand sanitizer. Sanitized wipes ensure the tray, screen, armrest, and others are adequately disinfected. Meanwhile, the hand sanitizer ensures your hands are clean after touching other surfaces, such as the lavatory. You can even use it to rid your hands of any strong lingering smells. The last thing you need is to disembark with an illness that prevents you from enjoying your holiday. You can also pack refreshing wet wipes to clean yourself. If you're flying in the economy class or on a smaller aircraft, you don't have the luxury of showers. The best way to freshen up halfway through the flight is to wipe your face and body. Not only will you be clean, but you'll also smell fresh. Be nice to the flight crew. Being a flight attendant can be a thankless job, so take a moment to be extra nice to them. Even a small smile and a few more thank yous will go a long way with them. They'll remember your effort and be more inclined to take better care of you. You might even get moved to another class if you're lucky. And while they are there to help you, remember that they have other passengers to help as well. There's typically only a handful of flight attendants assigned to take care of hundreds of passengers in economy. So while they're happy to give you some extra water or tea in between services, they probably wouldn't appreciate you asking for it every 10 minutes. Please be reasonable when using the Call Attendant button and don't get angry at them if they can't give you exactly what you're looking for. Relax and don't stress. Perhaps the most important yet most overlooked tip: just relax and don't stress too much about your flight. You've already cleared the hurdle of packing and going through the security checkpoint, so this flight is the only thing left between you and your destination. Let the flight attendants and the pilots take the stress of getting you there. Make yourself comfortable on your seat. Maybe watch a movie or catch a few Z's, and you'll be there in no time. Long-haul flights can be a relaxing way to start your vacation with some preparation beforehand. If you have other tips we haven't covered here, make sure to let your fellow travelers know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to love this other video from our channel. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want more content like this. See you soon, and until then, bon voyage.